Hello America, Blaze Guy Blast here, and welcome back to another episode of What Did I Just Watch? The show where I talk about movies, TV series, and Sarah that made my jaw drop and wonder, what the heck did I just watch? I never thought it would come to this. I thought it was just going to be a one-time freaking deal when I talked about Sesame Street, but nope. Folks, today we are talking about the Disney Channel Cinematic Universe. I'm gonna hate this so much, because if you remember the Sesame Street Cinematic Universe, you'll realize just how much of that was how there was, it opened a buttload of worms, a buttload of cans of worms. Oh. I asked them, please send these worms back. I did not ask to buy these. And they were like, well, they're here, so we're going to keep them here. Also, it came with a 12 pet plus surplus, so we're also bringing those in. So I was like, what the heck, I'll open them. That did not sound as funny as it sounded in my head. I'm sorry. So, as I said, folks, today we're talking about the Disney Channel Cinematic Universe. So you're like, why should I give a crap? Have you ever thought about your beloved Star Wars crossing over with Marvel? Have you ever thought of the possible idea that wizards and witches could exist alongside a nanny who's living in New York with a bunch of rich kids? Have you ever had the slightest idea that a woman who looked exactly like someone that went on a cruise when she was a little child could actually be noticed by someone who went on the exact same cruise that said girl went on? Have you had the slightest idea that a sidekick could be in the world of the Avengers? Wait, that actually already exists with Jean Grey. All that and more, we're starting now. So to start things off, also, there's also a bunch of other videos that you can see on this. So in case I forget something, you can watch that, but I suggest you stick with me, please. Also, I might not remember all of them, so bear with me. First off, Hannah Montana. Pop girl who's named after the state of Montana. Probably not, but I don't care. I can say whatever the frick I want on here. She had a crossover with the Suite of Life of Zack and Cody, who are also part of the Suite of Life on Deck, or Suite of Life on Deck series. So automatically, I'm just calling it Suite of Life on Deck or Suite of Life on Deck, because that's why I remember it best as. Hannah Montana and Suite of Life on Deck, they crossed over right off the bat, no questions asked. Also, That's So Raven also was part of that exact same crossover. And do you know the annoying thing about it is that they all whenever they did their crossovers, they had this weird gimmick where they would cross over, but each crossover would be in separate parts. Part 1 would be in one show, part 2 would be in show B, and if they had a 3-parter, then it would be show C. This had I think this is the order it went from. That's So Raven, Life of Zack and Cody, and then Hannah Montana. And also, here's the annoying thing with a lot of, because she apparently crossed over with them twice, so Life on Deck. The annoying thing is that Hannah Montana, she only interacts with the group, like, very little. Like, it went along well if it wasn't a crossover and it was just, a normal episode. But no, they for some reason decided they should cross over with them, but it doesn't make sense. Like, why the freak? You're gonna have them barely interact, so why bother? I don't exactly know the plot of all of them, but the ones I do know, I'll talk about. So, next up, the Wizarding World of Waverly Place. I'm so sorry if I ruined that name for people who love that show. Wizarding World Waverly Place, or whatever, Waverly Hill, Wizarding Place, I don't know. So stupid. Which, has vampires and werewolves and, obviously, wizards. They also had a crossover with, Suite of Life on Deck. So, immediately, those 4 shows are tied. But then, here's the kicker. Rippling effects. And next, what's this rippling effect, is, Bunked, which was a spin-off after Jessie, so immediately they're tied, so I'm just calling it the Jessie collection. Jessie, or Bunked, I guess, had a crossover with Raven's Home in the spin-off Raven About Bunked. It was decent, I don't remember too much. But anyways, they have a crossover, so immediately the Jessie collection is immediately connected to all those, and there's other ways they're connected. More on that later. And what I said earlier about the little girl thing, when I was reeling you guys in, I wasn't kidding, because the person who plays as Jessie, Debbie Ryan, also played as Bailey, who's part of the Sweet of Life on Deck series. In one episode, Karate Catastrophe, Emma is a absolute emo now, and she goes to the Tipton Hotel. Dun dun dun! Jessie goes there and bumps into Mr. Mosby, the manager of the hotel and the cruise. And later when they when Jessie and Emma had their little resolution, so heartfelt, no one cares. Mr. Mosby comes back calling someone saying that the woman or Jessie looks exactly like Bailey. So conflicting. How can they exist in the same world? And there's another example of this, because of this happening, because and some of this will be talked about a little bit later. But the person who plays as Teddy from Good Luck Charlie, she's also a vampire, I think, in the Wizarding World Waverly Place. So my best guess is they're all shapeshifters. Everyone in the Jessie Cinematic Universe are shapeshifters. I'm sorry. Anyways, now that we got all those connected, Jessie, I kid you not, Jessie had a crossover with Marvel's Ultimate Spider-Man. It was a Halloween episode based around, like, a museum, and I watched it a little bit ago, and I laughed my butt off. It was honestly funny. I don't care if Ultimate Spider-Man is considered one of the worst Spider-Man cartoons. It was actually hilarious. It was funny. It was enjoyable. Anyways, so yeah, Star Wars is part of the Jessie universe, and also Jessie has magic. I mean, not really surprising. And I'm not going to officially say that Marvel's Ultimate Spider-Man is part of the actual MCU, but it's part of some level of the Avengers universe, just not like the fully fledged cinematic universe like now. So I'm just calling it the animated Marvel universe. Don't think about it too much. Anyways, now that we have that, a few less so interesting. Jessie is also had a crossover with the show Liv and Maddie. I forget the name of the special. A lot of them are quite forgettable, honestly. One was an Austin and Ally crossover with Jessie. And also, not all the shows do I remember if they also had another crossover. But all I know is that, from what I remember, Jessie probably had the most crossover specials, from what I remember. I don't remember them all. There's this brief, they also had a crossover with Good Luck Charlie, which also, Good Luck Charlie also had a crossover with this forgettable show called Shake It Off. I'm gonna take a pause here, just so I can prepare you for why I truly made this video. I honestly when I initially recorded this video earlier ago, but I only after I finished recording did I remember the Marvel one. So, but that also made this worse. Good Luck Charlie had an effing crossover with the freaking Muppets! They had a crossover with the Muppets! It all started when the dad let termites destroy their poor little house, and then they're considering making a dream house on it. But Teddy and Charlie are like, no, that's no good. And Teddy has a dream where the Muppets talk to her. Also, then again, it is a dream, and also right before that, she sees like a TV show of the Muppets playing. Honestly, it looked way more low quality. But the only reason that I confirmed that it's part of the Muppet Cinematic Universe, and now I've thrown off, it was just a dream, it was just a show, is that later, there's a post-credit where Kermit and Miss Piggy and Fozzie talk to Charlie. And I don't know what to think of that. It's not really explained at all. There's no like, do-do-do-do-do, where it turns out, Charlie was just dreaming. It's not, and there's like no one else that's with her that's like, to confirm that's just her imagination, which I understand, because I think, because in the episode, also, she's talking to her puppet friend, Mr. Circle, who talks! And I'm not sure if that was her imagination or not. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be her imagination, so sure. But this one, there's no one to confirm it. No one else is with her to say, like, I didn't hear anything, or did you hear that, or whatever. So, I'm just gonna confirm it. Muppets are part of the Good Luck Charlie and Jessie and all that crap cinematic universe. And do you know what that means? Sesame Street, Simpsons, Batman, and freaking Star Wars are all part of the Disney Channel cinematic universe. The fact that I also connected freaking Marvel with Star Wars and DC within like one crossover, one teeny tiny innocent crossover, that is the largest rippling effect ever known to man. Oh my gosh. Now that I think about it more, after I rewatched the Sesame Street Cinematic Universe, that would also mean animated characters can exist in the real world. Think about this. Pink Panther had a crossover with Sesame Street. Hey Arnold had a crossover with Sesame Street. That means that animated people exist in the human world. So, kids, what did we learn from this abrupt video? Magic is real, kids. Star Wars and DC and Marvel exist in the same universe. Honestly, I've been dreaming that for a long, long time. I would imagine I would write fan fiction on it, and now it's reality. But now that I realize that also means they're existing with Sesame Street as their guide. Well, that wraps up today's episode, people. I'm going to bang into my wall for an hour after this, but I hope I made you wonder, what the heck did I just watch? Bye-bye, and subscribe. This is my life. Did I really make an episode talking about how Sesame Street on steroids is connected with effing Disney? Freaking Disney? What is wrong? I need to throw something. Nico, get over here. Oh my gosh. Is the camera on? No. Turn this off immediately. Turn it.